Fam, what's up? It has been a while since I have done anything, I think, bodybuilding related, my prep update, nutrition, fitness related, none of that. However, today is the day. I am filming this on February 19th, so I have been in prep for 1 week. It's really incredible to me because I truly did not think that I was going to be able to prep this year, let alone step on stage. Just life has been lifing, and I know myself well enough to know, and just basically when you have a lot of stress going on, the personal stress, whatever the case may be, especially if you are a competitor, that is not the time to be trying to prep. And when I tell you, I felt like my life was falling apart. And I just knew there was no way I could prep. I felt like my life was falling apart emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, career-wise. Like, it was just a lot going on. But I have been heavily listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts over the past 2 months. And one of her sermons in particular, Girl Get Up. If you have not heard that sermon, I'm going to do my best to remember to link it down below, but you can just Google it on the YouTubes, it'll pop up. And I heard that sermon and I was kind of like, immediately ugly cry, like bawling, snotting, you know the vibe, right? And then a month later, I could feel like the fire inside of me kind of slowly, like it was like a flicker now. I wasn't on fire. It was just like a little flicker. And last Thursday when I woke up, I was just like, nah, it's time to go. Girl, get up. Get up. Like, I was telling myself to get up in other areas of my life, but then with my own personal goals, bodybuilding, me competing, I was just kind of like, no, you have a goal. You got business to handle. You have done what you needed to do. You have taken care of all those other areas that weren't looking so hot, and now things are calm. Let's freaking go. So here we are. The highest my calories got for off season, I was a little over 2,600. And here's the thing, what you have to realize. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, well, that's so much food, or that's so low. Everyone's baseline is different, okay? Regardless if you're at 2,600 calories for your baseline, or if you're at 2,000 calories for your baseline, if you get a significant calorie cut from either one of those, you are going to feel it. So basically what I'm saying is, just because someone's calories are maybe starting off higher than you and they get a cut in their calories and they're hungry, it don't mean that they are less hungrier than someone whose baseline has lower calories. It does not work that way. So my baseline, we got me up to a little over 2,600 calories, which was freaking crazy. And the fact that I was even able to just maintain my physique, like, it's just been a body recomp. Again, I am 5'8". I am tall. I'm a tall woman. I'm not short. So of course, taller you are, you're probably going to require more food. That's just what it is. And she brought my calories down. Shout out to Jordan. I love her. That's my coach. That's my homie. Where's my fitness pal? Yeah, she brought me down to 2,390, and I have felt every bit of it. I completely forgot what it's like to be hungry. And the past couple of days, I got my reminder. I texted Alexis last night. I was like, yo, these past few days has reminded me of what it's like to be hungry. And she said, yeah, welcome back to the club. Shout out to Alexis too. So this is what my current physique is looking like. And I struggle with thinking I'm not big enough. I don't know. I think that's probably just PTSD from always been like the lanky skinny kid. They called me skinny at work last night and I almost had a heart attack. I know they didn't mean anything by it, but I see myself as, oh, you don't have enough muscle, you're not big enough, you're not dense enough. That's always my issue. I'm not someone that struggles with the, oh my gosh, I put on too much body fat, like that. That's never my concern. So again, I understand everybody's different. This is just speaking for me. I'm always concerned I'm not big enough. So of course, when I was going through doing my poses, I was just kind of like, man, I'm a little nervous when this body fat starts coming off, because if I still don't have enough muscle under here to make something shake, I might pull all 3 inches of my hair out of my head. Not really, I'm just kidding. So I definitely had a moment when I was not on point. Like I said, life got really difficult. I wasn't hitting my macros. Unfortunately, when I get stressed, I'm the opposite. I have no appetite. I started dropping weight. I think I probably dropped down. This was right between Black Friday and Christmas. The lowest I think I might have dropped down to was like 146. And that's not good, because that was just due to stress. So I had to force feed. I had to get myself out of that. And if you're a competitor and you're watching this, if you were in a situation like that where you don't have it in you to train, or you just don't have an appetite, exercise some grace towards yourself. Believe it or not, it ain't the end of the world. You're gonna be all right, okay? I know in that moment it might not feel like it, but how you're feeling and what you're going through, it's only temporary. Sometimes in bodybuilding, it can make you feel like if you're not constantly hitting everything to the point perfectly on T, then you're a failure. You're not gonna reach your goals. And that's just simply is not the case. You cannot maintain 100%. You can't. It's not possible. I can do 100% in short spurts, but to maintain it and sustain it, I can't do that. But I can do a smooth 80 on a regular basis. So I just told myself, okay, girl, we just gotta get you back up to 80, because right now you're sitting at a smooth 20, and this is not good. So I had to build myself back up. And then once I was able to build myself back up, the mindset started clicking in, paying attention to the content that I'm taking in, you know, because I don't think we realize a lot of the content that you are watching and you're taking in, it gets into your head. And that's why I had to just remove myself from social media for a bit. I had to remove myself from my loved ones for a bit. I'm the type of person where my isolation don't love company. My isolation likes isolation. So I just like fall off the face of the earth. Anytime I isolate, it's because I am either focused on something or my mind's not right, and I'm just trying to get my mind right. So I'm so grateful that I was able to get my mind right. We kind of have an idea of what shows we're going to be doing. I'm not warming up. So the first show will be a national show. Jordana and I, we have a game plan. It's just going to be a matter of whatever show I do will be dependent on what the body does. So I'm about to pull up my Fitness Pal, and I'm going to plan my meals for the week. Regardless if you do macros or a meal plan, at the end of the day, it's the same shit. Like, I am so far beyond and over the which one is better, you should be counting macros or you should be doing a meal plan. It's the same thing. If you're doing macros, you're just creating your own meal plan. I check in on Thursdays, and then if there's any adjustments, I'll go ahead, adjust my macros, and I'll reset my plan. So since macros are staying the same, so when I checked in last week for my first check-in for the season, I was at 151.2, and then this past Thursday when I checked in, I was at 149.2. So I dropped 2 pounds just like that. And again, the majority of that was probably just water. We haven't tapped into body fat just yet. Like, a lot of people think, for instance, when people go on keto and they're like, oh my God, I lost 5 pounds in 1 week. Baby, you didn't lose 5 pounds, okay? You did not tap into body fat. It's called water weight, because carbs are water, okay? So tell your little keto friend that, all right? Okay, so I'm just gonna pull up my Fitness Pal, and I'm going to go through and plan out my food that I am going to be eating throughout the week. And then I will be sure to make sure I put a screenshot of that in here so you guys can see it. Alright, food is planned. Now we gotta get ready to hit up the gym. Do I have my belt? Yes, I got my belt. So I unfortunately injured myself last week when I was training glutes. I have to be super, super careful when training lower body just simply because my left side, my neck, I have arthritis in the left side of my neck. And because of the arthritis, it has caused other things to go down my shoulder. It has caused other things to kind of feel little glitches. For instance, like my shoulder, sometimes my elbow, my finger, down to my hip. My hip is the worst. I call my hip the old lady hip. And these things did not happen due to me lifting weights. These things happened due to 10 years of doing hair. So that's that. When I was doing hip thrusts, I did something so bad to my hip to the point that I could not bend down to pick up something at work, and that scared the living daylights out of me. So I have just, last week I did not train glutes at all. Today is the best that it's felt. I am so grateful for Murillo, because when I tell you that man's magic is in his hands, like his hands are anointed, gifted. The man can cook, he can fix anything. He's been doing my body work, and finally got some relief. However, I'm a little bit hesitant to train glutes, so I'm gonna have him work on it again tonight, and then I'm gonna soak, and tomorrow we're gonna train glutes. But for today, we're gonna do these shoulders. So let's go.
Show me the car when you turn me on, the way you tell me you want me down. Done it, I done this before you falling. I won't catch you, don't know I'm stalling, cause you love to have them all crying. Calling me sweet, telling me you need me, but I'm from a city that's high school. I give them this and the more I go. Cause you a bad man, she don't love money. She break grass real fast like conman. Wanna swim down to the deep end, wanna know all my secrets, honestly. Can you keep it real? Cause honestly, I can tell that you're real fond of me. Baby, don't be shy, I can see it in your eyes. I've been running around, too bad, I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night?
All right, post-workout meal presented to me by Lita. Yeah. Editing Amber here. I don't know what happened to the first part of my fat loss tips. Maybe I didn't press record, maybe I accidentally deleted it. However, we're gonna do the first part right here, then we'll get back into the video. So one of my main goals for 2023 is I want to get the Am Fam right, okay? This dawned on me when I was on Instagram and I saw Ashley. I'm not going to reveal her Instagram or anything, so she might want to stay anonymous. But I was looking at her Instagram. She has been working out so hard. She's part of the Am Fam. She watches my content. Ashley, I love you and appreciate you. And on one of her Instagrams, I was like, man, she's doing so good. And she had mentioned something about cardio. So I never, ever give unsolicited advice. And I'm also the type of person where even if you ask me, I'm still gonna be conservative, because I'm trying to fill out, do you want the real or do you want a yes man? So most of the time I just don't even give it all. However, she's one of the homies, so I just hit her up and I was just giving her some advice on her cardio and whatnot and what to do. And then it hit me. I was just kind of like, you know what? I need to make sure that in 2023, I am not only just giving you guys makeup reviews and beauty tips and making sure you're good on the outside. I want to make sure that you are good on the inside as well. So I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of my nutrition tips, a lot of my training tips, fitness, etc., because it's important. You know, yes, outside can be beautiful and all good, but if the insides ain't right, if you're not eating the proper nutrition, if you're not training the proper way, what good is that? So here's the thing. If you're somebody who is new to me, you're probably thinking, what do you know about fat loss? You're not obese. You've never had to lose a significant amount of weight. You're a bodybuilder, so you're elite, you're advanced. All of that is complete and utter BS. Here's what you have to understand. Regardless if you are someone who was on a weight loss journey, regardless if you are someone who is on the journey to build muscle, regardless if you are someone who is also a bodybuilder, you're trying to compete, you have to understand that caloric deficit is a caloric deficit for all three of those people, okay? A bicep curl for a lifestyle client that wants to lose weight, for someone who's trying to gain muscle, for someone who's trying to compete, is still a bicep curl, okay? A squat for someone who's on a weight loss journey, for someone who's trying to gain muscle, for someone who's getting ready for a competition, is still a squat. A lot of people think that, oh, well, since I don't want to bodybuild or I don't want to compete, then I don't want to train in this way or diet in this way. And yes, if you are a competitor, the dieting is very intense. That is not something that you need to be doing on a regular basis. I am not talking about competitors. I'm just talking about building a physique, dieting, and training as a whole. Please understand that all of these things are going to be the same for everyone. The only thing that's going to be different is how much weight am I pushing. If you're someone who's just getting into it, you're not going to be as strong just yet, and that is okay. If you're consistent, you'll be able to build the weight up when you're training. If you're someone who is on a fat loss journey, guess what? A caloric deficit is a caloric deficit. It doesn't matter. So while I'm someone who has never struggled with obesity, when it's time for me to compete, guess what? I have to lose 20 pounds. In my dieting, it's going to be the same technical aspect of it as if it were someone who is on a fat loss journey. The only difference is my dieting, because I'm getting ready for a competition, is going to be way more intense than someone who was on a fat loss journey, and you're going to take your time. There's not a deadline. When you're getting ready for a competition, when you're a bodybuilder, you have a deadline. So therefore, sometimes you got to get stuff cranking and you do have to get aggressive. If you're someone who is on a fat loss journey or a muscle gaining journey, you do not have to do those things. You are not getting aggressive. That is the only difference. So the first thing I want to talk about is, number one, if you are serious about tapping into your fat loss, you need to count your calories. I don't care what you do. You want to count your calories, you want to count your macros, whatever the case may be. This is important just simply because if you don't know what's going inside, how many calories you're taking, how are you supposed to make appropriate adjustments? You can't. You're just going to be shooting in the dark. And this is, again, if you are trying to be serious and diligent with your fat loss. If you don't want to be serious about it, if you don't want to take the extra step to track, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. But just understand, if you are trying to be serious and achieve your goals, you need to be tracking your food. Because here's the thing, 9 times out of 10, whenever I bring on a new client for nutrition coaching, they are not eating enough. And let's say, we'll take me for instance, we'll use me. I'm 5'8". I require 2,600 calories just to maintain, okay? So let's say if I'm just starting out and I'm only eating 1,100 calories, guess what? We are already in a caloric deficit. We have nowhere to go. If you're only eating 1,100 calories, and again, taking consideration age, height, all that stuff, we're talking about me, someone that's 5'8", 1,100 calories are poverty calories. You can't diet from there. So if you are already at a place where your calories are too low, you have no business trying to diet because you have no place to go. That's like one of my friends I was helping. So she was tracking her food and basically came up, she was only eating 1,200 calories a day. And I was just kind of like, yo, you're already in a caloric deficit. What am I supposed to do? Break you down to 1,100? The thing is, you want to build up your caloric threshold, because when you're able to build up your caloric threshold, then that's when you can start dieting again. You cannot diet from a low place. Also, when you're building up, if you're someone where you need to take time to build up your calories first, that's fine. A lot of clients freak out because they feel like they're moving backwards. What they fail to realize is when you start doing that, when you're building up your caloric threshold, when you're drinking all your water, when you're getting your proper sleep, when you're training, you're going to get a body recomp. So while the scale might go up, that's okay, but your actual body recomp, your structure, you're gonna notice, hey, my waistline's looking tighter, or hey, my legs are looking a little bit smaller. Those things will happen when you start putting all of these things in place. So do not be afraid if you're in a place where you realize, oh shoot, I got low calories, I need to build them up first. Do yourself the favor, build your caloric intake up first, because I guarantee you when you start cutting and dieting down, it's going to be a way smoother process. Now, let's say if, you know, take me, I'm starting off at 2,600 calories. We got room to cut, you know what I mean? So this is why it's so important to make sure you understand where you are currently. So the best thing that I would encourage you to do is take a week and track everything that goes into your mouth. I'm talking all the liquids, everything that you eat. Track it. Don't do anything crazy. Track it so that way you can just get a good guide to see where you're at. Now, if you're someone and you're at those low calories where you're under 1,300, then you probably don't need to be dieting right now. Again, I can't say for sure. I can't see you. I don't know you. And I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to get comments saying, okay, well, I'm this height. How much should I be eating? I don't know. I have no data. It's such a detailed thing, and it's so unique to you. If someone can just say, oh yeah, you need to be eating this many calories because you're this age and you're this height and you're currently this weight, that's just a cookie cutter BS plan. If you want something that's truly unique to you, you have to do your due diligence. You have to take time to figure out where you're at before you can make any adjustments. All right, number 2 is cardio. You want to make sure that you are properly utilizing your cardio for your fat loss. Now, yes, cardio is good for your heart. You want to make sure that you're getting that cardiovascular activity. Yes, I understand that and I get that. But something else you have to understand is it's gonna, again, be very dependent on the person and their goals. We'll use me for an example. I genetically am skinny, okay? So in order for me to put on muscle, I can't be doing cardio because it's going to be a perpetual rat race. I'm going to be on the hamster wheel. If I'm doing all this cardio, but yet I'm trying to build muscle, essentially what I'm doing is I'm just burning off my tissue. I'm burning off my muscle mass. That is not what I need to be doing. So for me, in my off season for competing, I don't do cardio. I specifically use cardio as a fat loss tool. Now, this is going to be very dependent. Everybody is different. Every lifestyle fat loss person is going to be different. Every muscle gaining person is going to be different. Every competitor is going to be different. There are some competitors out there. What's up to all my competitors out there if you're watching that do still utilize cardio in their off season, and that's fine because it works for them. Now, for my people that are trying to lose weight, yes, we're going to use cardio as a tool, but what you don't want to do is start your cardio off so high. It's kind of the same thing with dieting. You can't start your diet if your calories are so low. You don't want to start your fat loss protocol with cardio high, because guess what? If we're starting it off at 45 minutes, we have nowhere else to go but up. So you want to take it slow. Let's get back into the rest of the video. You don't want to be pulling out all your cardio tools at once. So start slow. I would start anywhere between 3 times a week, no more than 20 minutes, and stick with that for about 2 weeks and just see how things go. All right, and then let's say when you follow up with yourself, whether it be the next week or 2 weeks, and you feel like, okay, I'm kind of at a standstill, nothing's happening. This is when you get to make adjustments. So the 3 by 20, you start to plateau. Okay, so you have 2 options. Maybe you do 4 by 20, or you can just up it. Maybe you need to do 3 by 25. This is how you play with your cardio for fat loss. The worst thing you can do with your cardio is start off out the gate 5 days a week, 45 minutes. Yes, you're going to see changes. However, when you plateau out and you realize you need to bump it to 50 minutes 5 times a week, or an hour 5 times a week, that is no way to live. You're going to be spending the majority of your life doing cardio. So that's why it's important to use your cardio properly. Don't abuse it. Start low so that way you have some place to build and go. Because if you start with your cardio too high, you have nowhere to go but up. Cardio should be used as a stimulus. And something else with cardio. Cardio is not efficient if you're not getting your heart rate up. Again, the beats per minute is going to be different for everybody. I know for me, if I can get me up to about 140 to 145, that's when my heart rate's up, and that's when I'm tapping into fat loss. Again, those numbers are unique to me. My numbers are my numbers. Whenever I share my numbers, it's just to help you get an understanding. You can try to utilize my numbers for you, but it's not going to work for you because you are not me. You do not have my body. So make sure you're being responsible with your cardio and you're not pulling out all the tools at once. And then also, another reason why I don't do cardio in my off season is because I'm working out. And I'm working out hard. I've got all the food. I've got body fat on me. I can push myself enough in the gym to where my heart starts going to the point that I don't even need to do cardio. So just as long as I am actively pushing hard enough, I'm good. My heart rate is still getting up. We're still getting that cardiovascular activity. And number 3, do not underestimate stress, okay? Cortisol is the boogeyman. You hear about him, but you can't see him. I've learned, for me personally, when I'm stressed, I can't prep. My body just stops. Our bodies are smarter than ourselves. We might not realize how stressed we are sometimes because some of us are unfortunately functional, stressed out people. However, the body don't lie. I know for me personally, if I get to a specific stress threshold, bottom out, plateau, nothing's happening. You have to make sure that you are mitigating your stress because it's very frustrating when you're doing all the things, you're hitting your macros, you're training, you're doing your cardio, and then you got that stress that's hanging over you. It's going to be frustrating. Stress mitigation is tricky because we are all different. You have to figure out what's going to work best for you. So therefore, you got to do your due diligence and figure that aspect out. Also, don't underestimate recovery. Recovery is so important. If you are not recovering, you're not going to be able to build any muscle. That also goes into rest. You need sleep, okay? Recovery, fat loss, just for basic everyday functioning. You need to try to get at least 7 hours of sleep. I know if I don't get enough sleep and if I have to check in with my coach the next day, my weight's going to be up. Nothing happened. I didn't eat over my macros. I didn't undereat. My body did not get enough sleep. So please, please, please do not underestimate your rest, your recovery, and your stress. Those things will play a huge part in your fat loss journey. All right, so down below in the comments, let me know if this was helpful for you. And if you want more fitness, nutrition, I don't even like saying fitness and nutrition. I like saying wellness, just your overall wellness. If you want more ways, more tips, so that way you can be on a beautiful wellness journey, I want you to leave me a thumbs up or a heart in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Keep it simple. How did I forget that? Keep it simple. Keep your nutrition and your exercise simple. Okay, bye.